Alright guys, the Nintendo Switch has actually pulled off the impossible in many different factors today when it comes to certain software sales, in addition to hardware sales as well. So we're going to go ahead and break it down, everything when it comes to the numbers, exactly how Nintendo has talked about it in their recent financial reports. So we've got official numbers with the Nintendo Switch. It has sold 122.55 million units worldwide. They had a monster third quarter when it comes to the holiday season. These sales are from October to December. The last reported sales, Nintendo had about 114 million Nintendo Switch units sold, so they actually tacked on another 8 million units in the past 3 months, which was just incredible for that October, November, December season. A monster sales period for the Nintendo Switch and also for software as well, which we will get into. They sold a total of 8.22 million Nintendo Switch hardware units and 76.71 million software during that 3 months ended on December 31st, 2022. What an incredible run. One of the best runs Nintendo's actually had for that last quarter of the year, and just something, it's kind of like mind-blowing, and it's almost an impossible task for a system this old to be selling like this. Now, to put it in perspective, for those who don't know the historical numbers here, the PlayStation 4, a system that essentially, I wouldn't say had no competition, but was going against two systems that didn't even crack 60 million units total. If you're talking about home consoles, that is actually underneath the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch actually passed up not only the PS4 at its 117 million units or so, but also the Game Boy at its 118 million units. So now the Nintendo Switch sits in sole place of third on the overall platform totals. We're not just talking about portables or home consoles, but just everything with dedicated hardware. It's number 3. Number 3, Nintendo Switch. Number 2, the Nintendo DS at about 154 million or so. And then number 1 with the PlayStation 2 at 158 million, which the Nintendo Switch has a very good chance of catching the PlayStation 2. Now, if you look at it at this point with 122 million, they're only about 30 million or so off, right? So you can definitely scrounge that out in the next number of years, depending on how Nintendo discounts the hardware and what software comes out and just all sorts of factors. So I definitely think that when it's all said and done, that the Nintendo Switch is going to pass up the Nintendo DS and also the PlayStation 2. Now, I do have some more information to go over when it comes to software sales, because this was pretty staggering and there were some impossible numbers also put up. So you guys are going to see the top 10 best-selling first-party Switch titles. Now, we know about most of these games. We got Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, Ring Fit Adventure, Super Mario Party, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Super Mario Odyssey, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And we'll go over individually some of these numbers because some of this stuff is just crazy, but we need to get into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This game sold 20.61 million units in about a month and a half on the market. Because remember, these sales are from October to December. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out mid-ish November. So all we're talking about here is the last half of November and then also December sales. So a month and a half or so, and it sold 20.61 million units. Now remember, in the first 3 days, it sold 10 million units. So for the rest of that time period, it sold another 10 million units and doubled up on its big, massive launch day or launch weekend sales. I've never seen anything like this for a singular platform game. I have never seen a franchise sell like this in this type of way. I honestly am almost like at a loss of words about how good, in terms of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the game is selling. Now, you can say what you want about the game itself, and trust me, I have my own criticisms, and I'm hoping that big February update that's coming where Nintendo's talked about making improvements, I really hope that they do that, because you've got 20 million people out there plus that are experiencing some of these issues, or at least millions upon millions of people. Sometimes people buy multiple copies of the game, but still, you've got a lot of copies out there, so I think that they need to spend the time and effort to get that fixed up. But just purely talking about from a sales perspective, this is impossible. This is incredible for a singular platform. These are the type of numbers that you see on multi-platform, the biggest games out there, like if a GTA launched and how that sells at the first, month and a half or something along the lines of that. It's like big multi-platform titles like an Elden Ring or something like that. But even with Elden Ring, this game is like selling just as good as Elden Ring, if not better, and it's just on one platform. So it kind of blows my mind that the Pokemon company was able to do this with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but I think it really speaks to the competition as well, as there is nothing like Pokemon on the market, and the stranglehold that Pokemon has when it comes to cards, when it comes to TV, when it comes to merchandise, and when it comes to the games, it's just incredible. It's just something that nobody else has been able to match in any type of way, and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the Pokemon Company, Nintendo are just reaping the rewards and benefits of that. That's pretty much what's going down there. Now, I do want to talk about Super Smash Bros. Just a little bit. The game actually crossed 30 million units sold, which is just awesome to see. I wasn't sure if it was going to cross it, but it actually sold almost 1 million units in that last 3 months of the year. So awesome to see Super Smash Bros. Do 30 million units. Most fighting games don't even get close to that. Super Smash Bros. Is the best when it comes to singular individual fighting games and what it sold. So awesome stuff there. Also, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild getting close. I mean, it's made a little bit of progress. I think it was at 27 million units. The last that we heard about it, so now it's at 29 million units, so people are getting ready and buying that, so very good to see. And the Eternal Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, over 52 million units. Once again, like about half, right? About half, or going on half of the people that have a Switch have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Not quite there, but still incredible to see 52 million. Some of that is the bundled software, but people are buying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe no matter what. It's always in the top sales charts when it comes to Nintendo Switch, so incredible there as well. Now, I do want to go over some auxiliary sales. When it comes to it, Nintendo has detailed 11 different games, and one of them I really want to focus on, or at least two, but we're going to start with the top here and then kind of work our way down. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, almost 15 million. Pokemon Legends Arceus getting very close to passing up Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee to be at the top when it comes to top 10. So New Super Mario Bros. And Pokemon Legends getting very close to that. So good to see Pokemon Legends Arceus doing so well. Luigi's Mansion 3, 12.44 million, very good. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, 10 million plus. Splatoon 3, 10 million units. So we heard about this game selling about 8 million units in the first number of weeks / months. So it tacked on another 2 million units plus in the last half of that year. So very good. I think Splatoon 3 is going to continue selling incredibly well for the duration, for probably into the next generation for Nintendo. So very good to see that as well. Also awesome to see Kirby and the Forgotten Land, over 6 million units. That is obviously a brand new record for Kirby. It's already the best-selling Kirby game of all time with the 5 million plus that it had, but now it's crossed into the 6 million, so very good there too. Now, two games that I want to spend a little bit more time on here, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 at 1.81 million, and also Bayonetta 3 at 1.04 million. So Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I thought that it might hit 2 million, might get that 300,000 units, but I think that there just wasn't enough extra stuff just yet. I think that once the new DLC is announced, I think that it will cross the 2 million mark and then be on its way to passing up Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I also think that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has a good chance at being the last Xenoblade game for maybe quite some time. So I think it will also sell on the next Nintendo Switch system. So I think that this is a good start for Xenoblade Chronicles, and definitely much faster than Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because it took Xenoblade Chronicles 2 quite some time to even get to 1 million units, and it was over the course of time that it got to that 2.44 million units plus. I think that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is well on its way, picking up 100,000 units here. It's going to pick up 50,000 units, 70,000 units, and it's going to ultimately get to that 2 million plus, maybe even 3 million units when it's all said and done. It's still the beginning, but overall, not bad for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I'm so happy that nearly 2 million people picked it up already when it comes down to it. Definitely selling faster than the rate of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, next up is Bayonetta 3, and this one makes me incredibly giddy and happy, because we talked about this on the Spawncast, where there were some people that were thinking that Bayonetta 3 wasn't going to sell very well, that it wasn't going to hit 1 million or was going to have trouble selling. And I thought that Bayonetta 3, especially with some of the controversies that was going on and the way that the sales charts were reacting to that, because I covered this in depth, from the controversy with Helena Taylor and all of that, and what was going on in some of the line or manipulation to the completely weird and uncalled for boycotts of this game over something that they don't even really know about, that it's a he said, she said type of thing without solid information, I felt that it was ridiculous, and I felt that the sales would be increased because of it, and it does seem that's the case. I don't think there's been any Bayonetta game that has sold full price 1 million units this fast. Now, discounted, yeah, I think like back in the day on the 360 and PS3 when they were selling it for like $30 after like a couple weeks on the market, but the fact that it's full price and it's sold over 1 million units, 1.04 to be exact, is absolutely incredible and a positive sign for the Bayonetta franchise that you can probably net revenue 40 million units right then and there. 40 million right then and there for Bayonetta 3. So that is awesome, right? And when I say net revenue, I'm just taking like maybe profit of $40 per game, right? $60 for a game, so $40 for it. So it's not that, but I'm just saying just in general that Bayonetta 3 can put up that type of performance, especially considering some of the stuff that was happening with the game, with the controversy, and with people complaining, the Digital Foundry stuff. And all of that is not most people, I know that, but it's just good to see Bayonetta cross that, because there were some people that had serious doubts, especially after the game released, that this game would even pass up Astral Chain. So Bayonetta 3 selling 1.04 million solidifies it as a good, fast million seller, in addition to a game that is worthy of being continued. I think that that would be the bare minimum for a game like Bayonetta or a game like Astral Chain. These aren't the biggest of AAA type of games with development budget and cutscenes and all the expensive stuff that makes games expensive, like The Legend of Zelda, for example. So the fact that Nintendo can be confident, despite the rocky development of the game, to sell 1.04 million in just about 2 months on the market, because the game came out at the very end of October, that is incredibly good to see, and I'm very happy. A little bit of a sigh of relief when it comes down to it, but I felt the game could do really well just because I saw what was happening with the Amazon charts, I saw what was happening on the eShop charts, I saw what was going on there, and then kind of like the really big booster for me was seeing it top in the NPD chart. So I'm like, okay, it topped in the NPD, so we're talking about hundreds of thousands of units sold just in the United States alone. Hundreds of thousands of units sold, not even including Japan, not including Canada, not including, you know, South America or Asia or other parts, like just in the US, it topped in the top 10 or top whatever NPD charts. So I already knew that it was off to a good start. Astral Chain did the same thing. It had a very similar start. I think it was right about 1.04 million units when Nintendo reported on Astral Chain. It was like 1.02 or 1.04. So it's probably a lot of crossover there too when it comes to Astral Chain and Bayonetta. But that's great. This is good to see, because games like this might have struggled and probably wouldn't even hit 1 million units sold on previous Nintendo systems. But to see it do this fast, didn't do that for the Wii U, that's for sure. Obviously, the system doesn't have anywhere near the install base, but that's why install base is so important. So very good all around there. I also want to point out another impossible thing that the Nintendo Switch is doing is that it's almost on its way, if not already there, to 1 billion units of software sold. Officially, they've sold 994.30 million Switch games have been sold, so that's going to be over 1 billion. And I'm not sure if any other system has done that. You guys can correct me in the chat. I'm just going off the top of my head, but that's going to be a first, and that's definitely an impossible task for a singular platform to do that. 1 billion games being sold, over 122.55 million systems. I mean, the Nintendo Switch, you wouldn't expect it, or at least think that it is a going on its 7th calendar year system when it comes down to it. From 2017 all the way down to this point, it's just been mind-blowing. That's like the only thing that I can kind of think about, and it's rejuvenized so many franchises and brought games like Bayonetta and Xenoblade and Metroid Dread and Splatoon and so many other games to even higher heights than they would ever imagine on any other system. So I like that. I like to see that. I like to see that games are doing well so the developers can get paid, and so we can see more of these awesome games come out, especially with some of these smaller titles like Bayonetta or like Xenoblade Chronicles, for example. It's great to see that. Or even how Kirby was. I mean, Kirby, it took how many years to reach the numbers that it's reaching? It's just a testament to the developers and them trying really hard, and of course the gamers going out there and enjoying games and having fun, and I think that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So if you want to see any more sales data or analysis, I've got a bunch of stuff where I've talked about it when it comes to The Legend of Zelda and other things. I'll have that linked for you guys in the description. What do you guys think about the sales? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next vid. Peace out.